Hey guys, this is Ghost57 coming at you from the power of YouTube through the internet itself. Okay guys, so in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how to make a VM. The reason for that is we're going to be scamming some scammers in some future videos, and I'll show you how to make a safe way to do that with VirtualBox, and we'll be using Windows 10 as our operating system. Anyways guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the computer so I can show you how to do it. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this, guys. So first off, we're going to get started with these two websites. These are the only two you're going to need, and we're going to go start off with downloading VirtualBox. Pretty much this is what we're going to be using today to show you how to make your own virtual machine, aka VM. So first off, a VM is a virtual machine that is on your host computer. It can be anywhere from a Linux machine to a fax server to a Windows-based computer. And the reason why we're going to do this is for safety. We are going to be making a future series called Scamming the Scammers. We're going to have these virtual machines, Windows 10 based, that we're going to use for call centers and for fraudulent emails and adware pop-ups, things like that. So we can go ahead and start pretty much sticking it to the scammers. So that will be in the future, but we're going to go ahead and get started by showing you how to make a virtual machine on your computer. So first off, you're going to go to this website that I have linked down below, VirtualBox. We're going to go ahead and download VirtualBox. So there's a couple different choices you have right here. For your host computer, you have Apple, you have a Windows, and a Linux. So we're going to go ahead and do a Windows computer. So we're going to click on that, and it'll start downloading in the background right over here. Once you have it downloaded, you're good to go. Second thing we're going to go ahead and download is going to be the ISO image for Windows 10. Again, these links will be down below. You can also use this to make a media disk. If you want to learn how to do that, right here up on top I'll leave a card so y'all can see how you can do that. So we're going to go right here, you're going to go to download tool now. There's going to be one more different thing than a normal download media disk. You're going to go right here and you're going to open. And on my screen it's saying yes, but I have a couple monitors pulled up. Let me go ahead and scoot this over here. There we go. So it's going to say getting a few things ready. Again, we do need our ISO image to run Windows 10 on our virtual machine, so we'll go ahead and let that boot up right there. As that's doing that, let's go ahead and open our VirtualBox file. So I'm going to go show in folder, and there it is. As you can see, I already downloaded it a couple times. Well, I guess it's on my main screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, so that's the way it looks right there. So there's VirtualBox right there. Let's go ahead and go back to our ISO image. Minimize this. So what you want to do is just accept that right here. Again, this is a fast way to do it. I'm going to go over the most important details for this. We're not going to go into too much information that's not necessary. The easier this is for you, the faster you can get into it. So again, it's still getting a couple things ready. Again, it's probably downloading some updates and stuff like that. So we'll leave that in the background. So we're going to go ahead and open VirtualBox, and we'll go ahead and start the install process. Let me go ahead and scoot this over again. Here it is. We're going to go ahead and hit next. And here we go with some important features. So all the, I guess you can say the tree, the pathway for these files, all are already preset into a program directory over here. Everything looks good. You don't have to change anything here. Just hit next. I like to keep all these checked right here. It makes it easier to locate VirtualBox on your computer. So everything's good. Hit next on here. And then right here, keep in mind it is going to kind of reset your network real fast, just so it can establish a network on your virtual machines. So just hit yes. You might lose internet connection, which is okay. It will only be briefly, so hit yes on that. And let's go to install this bad boy. So this does take a couple minutes. Once it gets going, you have an icon on your desk, and we'll open that up shortly. Again, we're doing two things at once. Y'all can do the same thing, so you can knock out two birds at once. So we'll let that install in the background. We're gonna go ahead and open back up Windows Media Disk. And so this is one of the options. You don't want to upgrade this PC. This is like, let's say if you had a Windows 7 or Windows XP, you can upgrade from there. But we're gonna go ahead and create installation media. Most important part right here is we want the ISO file. We don't want a USB or DVD, okay? So we're gonna hit next. This is one of the only differences, and make sure it's a 64-bit. Try to keep it the same as your computer. So normally Windows does a pretty good job for recommending the best thing for that. So this is one of the different options you have here. We're gonna make an ISO file. That's what VirtualBox needs, not a USB flash drive. That's for a media disk. We don't need that, so we'll do this. I do have this already downloaded, so I'm not going to hit next. I guess I could. So with next, you'll find a folder directory for it. As you see, it's right there. I named it Windows 10, because you can also do Windows 7, Windows XP for virtual machines if you want to practice or use an older machine. Let's say for playing emulators or something like that for Windows-based games. So I'm going to hit cancel on that. We already did that. And I'll just hit X. I'll just show you the steps. So now that we have the ISO image already mounted to the computer, we're going to go ahead and start opening a VirtualBox. So we're going to hit finish right here. And it'll go ahead and pop up VirtualBox. And here we go. So let me go ahead and move this over to the screen y'all can see. So here we go. So now let's go ahead and get into the details on how to make your first virtual machine. Again, we're making a Windows 10 virtual machine just because we're going to be using this for scamming the scammers in the next couple of series. So if y'all can follow along, or if y'all want to scam scammers, I'll show you how to do it the safest way possible so you don't lose any personal information. So we're going to go to, we'll go ahead and hit this button right here, new. And so you can, pretty much this will be the name of the computer. So depending on what you want to name it, I'm going to go ahead and just call it, I'm going to use an alias, John. And we'll call it John's PC. So John's PC, it's a Windows-based computer. As you see, you do have a couple different options you can choose here. We're going to make a Windows computer, and we're doing Windows 10, and then you're going to pick your bitrate, which is 64. So Windows 10, 64. You can see the different options right there, but this is the one we're going to pick, okay? And you're going to hit next. So this part is kind of important. So my computer has 65 gigabytes of RAM. I have a Threadripper workstation computer, so you never want to go higher than half of your computer's RAM right here. So I'm going to just make a basic 8 gigabytes for this machine. So the scammers, you know, you really don't want to go lower than 4 gigabytes on a machine nowadays, because it'll be harder to run a lot of applications. So most applications take a minimum of 4 to run properly. So we'll be doing 8 gigabytes of RAM here, which is 80,000 megabytes. Yes. No, I lied. Oh, I'm so bad at math. I'm sorry, guys. 8,000 megabytes of math. Oh my goodness. The COVID brain is coming back, guys. It's 8,000 megabytes, okay? So, again, you never want to go over half of your host computer for the virtual machine. So we're going to do 8 gigabytes of RAM. We'll go next. And what you want to do here, what I like to do the most, is create a virtual hard disk now. The easiest way to start off with. As you see, 50 gigabytes is recommended for the Windows 10 computer. Keep it there. You can add more if you want to, depending on your host computer's available hard drive space, or storage space, I should say. So we're going to create now. and this is what you want it to be on. I never had any issues with VDI, VirtualBox disk image, so we'll keep it there. Hit next, and dynamically allocated is perfect, so we'll hit next, and we'll keep it at 50 gigabytes. The reason for that is I am running out of storage on this machine. I think I have a 2 terabyte NVMe drive in here, but a lot of video games on this machine for some reason that I should probably delete because I don't use them. So we'll go ahead and put it at 50 gigabytes right there. We'll create this, and here we go. So John's PC, it's powered off. So with this type of setup, we still can't do much, okay? So what you want to do is go to settings on John's PC. As you see, I only have one selected. Go to settings. Okay, and then right here we'll show you some good details. You can go to advanced, and it kind of just shows you where everything's at. That's the name of the computer version. You can always switch it right here if you need to. So the first thing we're going to go to is system. And right here, we're going to go, this is going to be the same portion we have. We can always switch the RAM right here. Again, we're going to put on boot options. That looks good. And then everything looks good there. Processor. So it looks like it's picking up the threads right here. CPU units. So this computer has 12 cores and 24 threads. It's a Threadripper. One of the lower models. I just wanted to get an entry-level Threadripper and upgrade later on because they are $1,000 for like the 32 core systems. So on this one, it's going to be the same idea that you used before the RAM. You never want to put more than half of your cores. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 cores. Okay, we'll keep it at 100% right there, which is good. We'll go ahead and hit, we'll keep that right there. We're going to switch to more things. So on display, we're going to say enable 3D acceleration. It's a little bit more smoother. And the good thing about video memory, you can go ahead and max that all the way out. Okay, you can keep it halfway. To make it a little more smooth, you can max it all the way out. Scale factor at 100% looks good. And how many monitors are you going to use? We'll keep it at 1. Because we'll just keep it on one screen. And the storage again looks good. So the next thing is quite important. So right now, where it says empty, that's where you want to put your ISO image. So most important part of this setup is right here, because if you don't do this, nothing's gonna run. So go ahead and click on the empty right here, and right where it says optical drive, you're gonna go ahead and move across here. You're going to click on the little disk image, and you're going to go right here and say choose create a virtual optical disk right here. Let me go back. No, I lied. So you want to go right here, choose a disk file. So this is where you find your ISO image, wherever you saved it. I put mine in downloads, so I'm going to go to downloads, and I named it Windows 10. So there you go, guys. So that's the most important part. Now you can actually start your PC like a normal brand new Windows 10 computer. Audio, again, it's going to play out of your host computer. That looks good. Network, so we're going to go ahead and enable network adapter. We're going to keep all this right here the same. Everything looks good. And then if you want to add a USB device, you can. We're going to go ahead and keep this option off because we are making a secure computer that's off the machine. And this is if you want to add a file from your local machine, your host computer, to the virtual machine that you can access. You can click here and you can put, like, even if you want to find downloads or something. But for me, again, we're using this for a different reason, to attack the scammers, so we're not going to enable any of that. So let's go ahead and review what we just did. Again, most important part is you select the ISO image right here. If you don't have it selected, it'll say empty, so make sure that ISO image is located right here. We did increase the video memory to the max, so it can be nice and smooth. We have the monitor set to 1, and we have enabled 3D acceleration for smoothness. System settings, it's up to you. You can let's say your cores, you have 4 cores, so we'll put it at 2. And if you have 12 cores, well, you know, you can go up to 6, depending on, you know, how many cores your host computer has. You want to go up to half, okay? And then you can put it at 100%. It will push those cores to the max. And that's what you want it to look like, guys. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And let's go ahead and start John's PC for the first time. So you're going to hit Start. As easy as this. And you'll start seeing it pop up over here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to move this over because I have, again, 4 screens. Wish I can show you this. What it's saying on my screen is Startup Disk, select Virtual, and it's selecting the ISO image. I'm going to hit Start. Now I'm going to move it over. Okay, you can see it right there in the preview. Okay, so you saw exactly what I saw. So this means you did a good job. Primarily if you see Windows or whatever image, ISO image you have, then you know you did a good job. And this is like starting up any other type of Windows computer. So now we already made a virtual machine. Congratulations. Now to finish the install, we'll go ahead and get over here, hit Next, Install Now, just like a normal Windows computer. And depending on how fast your computer is, this process can be pretty fast. So the cool thing about Windows 10 is you don't need an activation key to get started, which is good. It saves you a little bit of money. Even on a virtual machine, you still need to activate your Windows. But you don't need that. So we're going to say I do not have a product key. And now you can choose what you want to use. I always go to Windows 10 Professional because you have a little bit more features you can use. We'll go Next, and we'll start the install. Hit Accept, Next, and then go to Custom, and then pick on the unallocated space you gave for your virtual machine. Remember, the minimum for Windows 10 on a VM is 50 gigabytes, so make sure you have a big enough storage device. You can also use an external hard drive for this if you want to save some money. So now go ahead and hit Next, and it'll go ahead and start the upload. I am using a 2TB NVMe SSD. It's like the Samsung Pro 970 Evo, I believe. So super fast. So this installation should be fast. We are only using 4 of our cores from the Threadripper because you don't want to over exhaust your host computer. You never want to put it at 100% on anything because you don't want your main computer to crash. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video right now so you don't have to wait for this install. And then we'll go ahead and show you everything's working. I'll show you how to turn on and turn off your machine and connect it to the internet. There. Okay, so everything looks good so far, guys. So as you saw that, it's about the same time it would take on a normal computer to install Windows. And now it's going to go ahead and start your computer for the first time. Everything's getting ready. It's getting ready to update your computer. Your virtual computer, I should say. Again, I'll go ahead and fast forward all these boring parts. Who likes to wait for a computer to boot for its first time? And don't worry about that. Again, it's just finishing up the boot process on your machine. Sometimes it does give you little error codes like that, but it's just doing the normal install. Everything looks good so far. Just a moment is going to let you create your credentials for this machine, like your name, and if you want to connect it to Siri and all that good stuff. So, not Siri, Microsoft's version of Siri, Cortana. So we'll go ahead and put it on US keyboard. Again, wherever you live, you can put it to your layout. You can add another one. So I'm going to hit skip. In basic things that you normally do. Nothing too crazy. And right now it should be able to pick up the network we have installed on here. That is the basic home network you have. So let's see what it's going to do now. So personal use, yes. And then I'm going to do an offline account, so you don't have to have any of your credentials associated to this computer. Again, you could if you want to, but it's a virtual machine, and we are using this for a more secure reason. So we're going to hit offline account, and I'm going to put limited experience, and now we're going to call it John's computer again. I'll just call it John's PC, like that. Again, we're using an alias. And then you can put a password on here if you want to. You can always make one after this. It's up to you. Since we are using this for scammers, it's pretty smart to put a password in here, because the scammers we're going to look at are people that remote into your PC. So if you can make a password now, that would be smart, because we don't want them to switch too many settings on your PC without your approval. So we'll hit next. Okay, so now that I skipped ahead from all those security questions that are pretty smart to put in there, because even though this is a virtual machine, you don't want them to access certain files on here, because then you would have to flatten it and make another one. Pretty much you'd have to delete it and make another one if they get too far into your virtual machine. But that's the whole point of it. You're not risking much. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and hit accept. It's up to you. I'm gonna hit not now. And here it is, your computer finally booting up to Windows 10 for its first time. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this portion of it. Who likes to see a computer booting for his first time? That's pretty boring. Okay guys, so as easy as that. So everything looks good so far. Again, this is the first video of a couple videos to show you how to properly use your Windows 10 virtual machine. But so far, as you can see, we do have internet connection. We'll go ahead and push this to confirm that. And then I'm going to show you your cool settings. This should be popping up some internet stuff shortly. So there you go. So you have access to the web. Great, everything looks good. Awesome. And then in a little bit, or on the next video I should say, we're going to look at how to make this even more secure from hiding your IP address and all that good stuff. So everything looks good here. We're going to go ahead and check out the RAM and PC settings. So we're going to view what this computer actually looks like. So there it is. So the cool thing is it's showing 8 gigabytes of RAM that we put on here. It's showing the version of Windows 10 Professional, which is the latest one, since we just downloaded the ISO image. The funny part about this is when you look at the cores, it should only show 4, and this is not a 4-core computer, so it's going to be kind of funny. Thing, Control, Alt, oh. There we go. So I just wanted to show you one thing that's going to be kind of funny. So there it is. 4 cores. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So that's one way, I guess, the hacker or the scammer can see that you actually are using a virtual machine. But besides that, they would have to know what the Threadripper actually has in here. But we do have the 4 cores right here. So everything looks pretty good. Good job, guys. Congratulations on your new virtual machine. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and we'll go ahead and look at those together. Overall, this is going to be one of many videos in this series to come called Scamming the Scammers, but this will be showing you how to make a virtual machine as well, if you want to do some projects on your own, and you don't want to mess up your main computer. This was Ghostbit Miner coming at you from the power of YouTube through the internet itself. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon so you can go ahead and get the latest videos from myself. And I'll see you in the next video. Ghostbit Miner.